Hey, investors.
I am here with the Property Challenge podcast.
I teach investors all around the world how to become real estate investors and
How to overcome their challenges. Join me here every single week. PCP, the Property Challenge podcast.
when I started this podcast and when I said, what am I going to talk about? I said the best name is
The Property Challenge.
Hey, investors. Welcome to another episode of the Property Challenge podcast with your host, Terica Lynn Smith, real estate developer and real estate coach. And guys, we're going deep in today. I want to talk to you about how I personally believe that most of these insurance companies are just marshmallow men and women behind the screens paying people for some of the most ridiculous things. So in this episode, we're going to talk about how to cover your assets in real estate investing. I said it exactly like that because after this situation, this is exactly what I felt. I could not wait for this to finish so I can share it with you guys. It is completely unethical. It is not right. It is unfair. And guess what? I can't do anything about it. So that's why I want to share with you guys this story so I can teach you how to, protect yourself, but not just protect yourself, right? Keep detailed records of everything and stand up for what you believe is right, no matter how much they argue and fight back with you. So in this case, I want to talk about a tenant that I had. We end up buying a portfolio. It consisted of 10 homes. The homes were all scattered out, and it already had tenants in place. Now, when we acquired these properties, we went through all of the properties and we would ask the residents, hey, is there anything wrong with the property that you would want us to know about? We asked this during the due diligence period. And we would take very detailed notes of everything that the resident was saying that was wrong with it. So if they had a leaking pipe, the toilet was running, the bathtub faucet had a drip, whatever the case may be, we would take detailed notes, right? So during due diligence, we had all of the information that all the residents told us about the properties. We went back to the seller. We negotiated what we needed. We got out of due diligence and we closed the deal. Boom. Now we own 10 additional homes in our real estate portfolio. You would think life is great. This real estate portfolio is supposed to bring in an additional $5,000 to $6,000 a month gross. These tenants have been in these properties for years. They didn't look like they were going nowhere, so it looked like we bought a very stabilized asset. But baby, oh my goodness. So we get a phone call from a resident. And, he's having financial problems. He just got laid off on his job. And so he wasn't able to keep up with his $300 a month rent. So we told him to come into the office. He can make a payment plan. Mind you, we're the new landlord. So we're just trying to get a feel for all the residents, see if this is habitual. Like, do they do this often? Like, we don't know. So we just, dotting our I's and crossing our T's. And plus, everybody needed to come in and sign new leases anyway with our company because all the leases that they had were with the old company. So this guy comes in, he gives us this sob story about how he got laid off and everything like that. We set him up on a payment plan. We asked him if there's anything wrong with the property. He's like, no, I absolutely love my property. I do not want it taken from me. So we're like, all right, cool. So he goes on a payment plan. He does a great job. The first month, we let him pay half on the first, the remaining half on the 15th. He was so grateful to us. He found another job. Okay. With our rental properties, we do what's called a quarterly inspection on all of the properties. Now, it just so happened that I was asking the person who was doing the management at the time to take pictures of the inside units just to show that we have updated pictures from the time of our inspection. So the person that was doing the property management at the time, she went through all the properties. She ended up at this property where the guy was doing the payment plan. He did a great job, paid his rental payment. We go inside the house and she take pictures. This was not intentional. This is how I know God was in the middle of all of this. So as she's taking pictures of the floor. I never asked for pictures of the floor because it's just the floor, right? So I noticed when she came back from the inspection that that property had stained concrete flooring. Now, y'all got to follow me through the whole story because I'm going to explain to you why this stained concrete flooring was very important in this story. So another month goes by, the guy pays his rent on time. The next month comes, he needs another payment plan. Because he did so good with the last payment plan, we say, you know what? Let's give him another payment plan. It's not that bad. So we ended up giving him another payment plan, pay on the 1st and then pay on the 15th. Every time he came inside the office to do a payment plan, you have to sign off that your property is in decent condition and that there are no repairs needed at this time. Every time he come in, he hold conversations. He tell us how grateful he is for us. He's so happy that there's a new property management company. The old landlords, they didn't care anything about him. And they just, they would never check on the properties. And so he's so happy that we're here. We're like, man, this is a really great guy, right? Wrong. Next month come. He can't pay the rent again. He needs another payment plan. So we say, hey, mister, you will not be allowed to get another payment plan because our policy says you only can get 2 payment plans a year. Boy, he had a fit, okay? So when he had that fit, I said, look, we'll give you one more. And after that, mister, we can't give you another one, okay? All right, cool. So he comes, he do this paperwork, sign, he gets the payment plan, everything is good, okay? Signs off, there's nothing wrong with the property. He needs no renovations, whatever the case may be. So this is about a year into having this property and owning it, okay? So come the next year, we get a letter from an attorney. And the letter said that this particular tenant, he claimed that he fell down on a broken piece of tile that he's been telling the owners about. And now he wants to sue everybody. He wants to sue my property management company. He wants to sue all the owners in the process. He just wants all of his bills to be paid. It came out to $75,000. Now, this is the thing. You would think when you buy insurance that they would go out and fight for you. You think the reason why you pay so much in this insurance is because they are here to cover you and protect you. That is not the case. I am finding more than not, these insurance companies are soft. They're rolling over and they're paying out hundreds and thousands of dollars on people's behalves that have no injuries, but these people have become professionals at suing insurance companies and watching them roll over and do nothing. So when I get this letter from the attorney, I'm like, wait, how did this guy even hurt himself? He's been into the office 3 times. He signed all 3 payment plans. There's nothing wrong with the property. And now all of a sudden he has fell and hurt himself. Wouldn't you think he would have come and told us that? Oh, but it gets even better. The attorney says he has sustained multiple injuries due to this. He has broken his hip, his spinal cord, his leg. I'm like, how in the heck one fall break all of that? Now, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a medical specialist, but you got to have some pretty fragile bones to be breaking them all at the same time like that. So, of course, I called my attorney and I said, hey, this is a stupid lawsuit. It has no merit. This guy has never come into the office and told us that he slipped and fell. I've never seen him on crutches. I've never seen him in a wheelchair. I've never seen him in a boot. The things that they're claiming happened to him, because at the time they claimed that it happened, it was the exact same time that he came in and did the renewals, the payment plans, right? So my attorney said, okay, send me a timeline. This is why it's so important as real estate investors that you timestamp every single thing. I tell my property managers, don't you dare open up your mouth without the computer open. You need to be typing as they talking, and then you need to put what you said back in there. So on such and such day, such and such call at this time, they stated such and such. We responded with this. This person called on such and such day and time. They needed these repairs done. We responded within 24 hours. The work order has been closed. That's the type of detailed information you need. For those of you who's out there winging it, you haven't met these type of tenants yet, but trust me, they are out there and they are after $1. They want to come after you for every single thing that you have. They are disgusting, okay? What's even more disgusting is what the insurance companies allow. So I send over this detailed email to my attorney. I call my business partner. I tell her what's going on. Hey, we're being sued. This is what took place. She said, why wouldn't he call and tell you that he fell? I said, I have no clue. To be honest, I don't know. I don't know. So I'm going through the timeline and I see on the report in our system that we keep a detailed record of that we did a quarterly inspection. So something told me to go pull the pictures from the quarterly inspection. Guess what? We had a picture of the floor where he say he fell at over a broken piece of tile. Guys, it was concrete flooring. There was no tiles. There was no ceramic nowhere inside of the house. So I'm like, oh, we got him dead to rights. Here is the picture. Here's the proof. We're not paying him one single dollar. So I bring all that to my attorney. My attorney said, Terica, this is really good. Let me send this over to his attorney. Obviously, his attorney isn't aware of this, right? I said, and while you're sending it over to his attorney, ask the attorney for a copy of his medical records, because I seen this man walk into our office without any type of assistance, no crutches, no wheelchair, no boot on his foot. There's nothing. So I would love to see, when did he go and have all of this surgery done because of this fall? So he said, all right, I'll get back with you. So 2 months go by. I mean, everything is so freaking delayed with insurance and attorneys. Like they charge you by the hour and they move like a snail, okay? So I called my attorney. I said, hey, have we heard anything back? I'm losing sleep because I hate when people lie. Like, don't lie on me. Like, don't do that. I have an issue with that. It bothers me every single time somebody do that. So the fact that I know that this person is lying is pissing me off even more. And what's making me even more madder is that these insurance companies is investigating me like I'm the slumlord and like I did something wrong. So I called the insurance company back because they wanted me to give them the same timeline I gave to the attorney. I said, well, God dog, it feels like y'all interrogate me. They said, we're just trying to get to the bottom of it. I said, I never seen y'all try to get to the bottom of reducing my insurance. You surely trying to get to the bottom of this, though. I've been paying insurance to you guys for 15 plus years at this point in time, and I've never had one single incident. And now because one person make this frivolous claim that he has fallen where there was no tile, now you want to investigate me like I'm the problem. I have an issue with that. So as time go on, I am giving the insurance company and my attorney every single thing that they're asking for. So then my attorney looks at me. He said, hey, first he said, T, I need you to come to the office so we can have a meeting. I just kind of want to get you prepared for what's going to take place. So I'm like, all right, cool. He said, we're probably not going to go to court. I said, well, why? Did I do something wrong? He said, no, you did everything right. You got all your records. You got proof that there was no ceramic tile. But the insurance company, they typically like to settle these cases so they don't have to go to court. I said, wait, you mean to tell me this man is about to get $75,000 for nothing? Even though I have proof. I have proof that he is lying. And he's about to get this money? And he said, look, T, I know you don't get it, but that's just the way the insurance business is. That's why our premium's so freaking high, because they're not doing their jobs. I believe, and this is a public service announcement to our insurance commissioner here that does not do anything to help us with these high insurance rates. You should be ashamed of yourself as being our commissioner and every other commissioner throughout the United States. Not only are y'all not reducing our insurance rates, y'all rolling over and taking it with no Vaseline when these stupid claims come, and you make us pay all this money. You increase our policy. You penalize us even when we have insurance. I told my attorney, I want to go to court. I want my day in court, period. He said, Terica, it's going to cost you all kind of money. I don't care about the money at this point. I'm being honest. This is going to end. This is not right. You sitting here telling me that I have a rock solid case, but we should not go to court. Where does that make sense at in America? Because you know what happens? The moment they pay out that money to this fraud, I'm penalized. Every single rental property moving forward, I'm penalized moving forward. And you expect me to be okay with that. I'm not okay with that. I'm not okay with rolling over with no Vaseline. I'm not okay with that. So he said, well, we can fight it. It's just going to cost you more money. Just let the insurance deal with this. I said, hey, I need for you to read my property management agreement. There's a reason why I paid attorneys to write these agreements for me, because I needed them to be impenetrable. I didn't want anything to penetrate these agreements. So he goes and read it and he says, Terica, I can have you completely removed out of the case because in your property management agreement, it states that you will not be responsible for any type of claims that is brought about against the tenant that you're managing. Exactly. So I'm walking my attorney through this, okay? And look, I have a great attorney, but at this point in time, I think he had on his mind, I'm just going to settle this too. So while I'm like, no, I want to fight. I want my day in court. This is not right. This is not fair. Guess what? I get a phone call to my office from the actual person's wife, okay? So the wife calls into the office, and I'm going to play the full script on here. I'm going to block out names, but I'm going to play the full script on here so you guys can hear, because I can't wait to share with you guys how this story ends, okay? So just listen to this recording.
Okay, hang on one second. Okay, so you said that fell before we got the house.
When Mr. had the house at the time.
Okay.
And he slid and fell.
He did? Okay.
Yes.
Do you remember when that happened?
I'm not positive. I know it's a few months before y'all bought it.
Okay.
Not long. Yeah.
And Miss, do you have the same last name as
Yes.
Mr.? So Virginia
Yes.
Duhon? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And so now, so you're saying that he fell before we purchased the house.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Are you going to tell the lawyer that, or what's...
Yeah, I'm thinking about calling his lawyer.
Okay. Got you.
Yeah.
All right. Are y'all moved out? We went, I called, or we had gone into the house the other day, so...
I have not been back to the house in a while now.
Okay.
I don't know what he's doing.
Got you. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate the information. Is this a number I can reach at if I need to?
Yes, ma'am.
At 7?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Miss.
You're welcome.
Thanks. Bye.
So guess what? The wife called because him and her beefing, okay? And they can't stand each other. Now, mind you, this is a domestic situation, okay? So she calls and tells us, hey, he's suing y'all and he's suing the wrong people. This happened way before y'all even had the property. So I'm like, we got him for sure now. You got a picture. You got all the notes. You got his signature saying that he was not injured, but there was no repairs at his property. And the nail in the coffin, his wife calls us out the blue and tells us that he is wrong for doing this. We literally have it recorded. So you know what I do? I sent it on over to my attorney. I know we got him. Oh, this is going to be good. Give me my day in court, baby. I sent it over to the attorney, and he said, so what happens here is that until she gets a divorce, what she told you guys is covered in spousal communication. So what my attorney essentially is saying is, I can't use pillow talk. So now I'm looking at this dude cockeyed. I'm like, what else do you need other than us standing there at the house living with him, verifying that he did not fall at this property with us? If he did fall, it was not with us. So he said, well, what I'll do, Terica, is I'll send it on over and we'll figure it out. Now, I get my attorney. He's trying to protect me, guys. Y'all probably like, why you didn't fire him? It's because he knows it's going to cost so much money to go to court, and he's trying to avoid it, okay? So the insurance company calls us back and say, hey, we got the recording. Thank you for sending us everything. We're going to look at everything, and we'll be able to make a decision. So the insurance company originally rejected it. They said, yep. This is no claim, rejected, boom, it was kicked out the door. My attorney said, Terica, the insurance company rejected it, so the attorney is coming after you directly now. He's not going through the insurance company anymore. I said, okay, but did he ever provide those doctor records I asked for? He said, no, we don't have no copy of his doctor records. They did send over his chiropractor. No. Y'all said old boy had to have surgery and all this other stuff. I don't want to see no chiropractor cracking his bones. People do that all the time. Show me the doctor reports. Ain't no HIPAA involved at this point in time because it's an actual lawsuit. So he got to prove that he had this surgery and he wants us to pay for this. He got to prove the cost of what this surgery was so we can reimburse. That is what I do know. I am not a lawyer, but I know that much. So sure enough, they could not get that paperwork. I said, God dog it. I don't know if it's me or if all insurance companies are just this dumb. So my attorney said, well, do you still want your day in court since he's still coming after you? I said, it's not fair for him to come after me. At this point, he's coming after me alone, not my business partner, not the insurance company anymore. But guess what? I told my attorney, I reminded him, I said, hey, you remember in my property management agreement, they can't come after me. So he sent a dismissal to the attorney saying, hey, we're going to dismiss Terica out of this case because her nor her company should be listed in this. The attorney said, okay, fine, do whatever you want, but we're going to bring her into it, okay? So then we found out, guess what? There was another insurance company involved. So at the time that this took place, one insurance company sold out to another insurance company. They do this all the time. So that insurance company that denied the buyer. They said this is a fraudulent claim, right? The insurance that took over, the attorney went back and hit the new insurance that came. So my attorney said, hey, Terica, there's been a new lawsuit filed and this is what's taking place. I said, you got to be freaking kidding me. I just want to be done with this. I want this to be over. So I said, let me ask a question. Now that him and his wife is divorced, because I've heard through the grapevine that him and his wife is divorced, can she come in and testify about it? They said, no, she's still covered, but you can have a conversation with her or whatever. So I said, okay, so had my property manager call back the wife. Guess what? The child answered the phone. I'm sorry, she passed away. What? What you mean? Like, she dead? Yes. She went on to glory. I about threw the phone through the wall. So now the case is starting over. We for sure can't use the recording that we have. And now we have the timestamps of when he came in the office. And we have him signing off on him not having any repairs needed. So we're back at square one. So at this point in time, the insurance company, my attorney tells them that I'm going to be removed. The judge approves for me to be removed out of the case. So I am removed out of the case, but I'm still a witness inside the case. So this cost me a few $1,000s, just so you know, right? The insurance company, the new one, says, hey, this has been going on too long. We're just going to offer him a settlement. Do you know they paid him $60,000? $60,000. He didn't have no evidence. We never got the surgery bills. We never got nothing. The insurance company said, we have the right to settle this, and we're going to settle it. They settled the case. So I get a phone call from a sheriff in the area saying, hey, I heard that you had some issues going on with this particular person. I just want to let you know that this is not the first time he's done this to a landlord. He has done this numerous of times before. I said, that would have been great to know before they settled the case. So why am I frustrated with the insurance, and why do I say you need to cover your assets in real estate investing? It's because the insurance company don't have your best bet in hand. They are not looking to protect you. They're looking to settle this and get through it as quickly as possible. They are not doing full investigations. And I feel like there should be an investigation on the amount of claims that's been settled by insurance companies from fraudulent cases that had proof, like I had in my case, and they did nothing about it. And because I was excused from the case, does not mean my errors and omission insurance did not go up. Because I was excused from the case does not mean that my insurance for my company did not go up. My insurance increased because of this claim, because it shows that I have a claim on my record. So one bad tenant, because he could not pay his rent and got upset because we would not renew his agreement because we refused to do another payment plan, he went completely vogue. Now, as an investor, you're probably like, well, why would I ever want to get insurance on my property? Well, because $60,000, if I didn't have that, he could have came after my house. He could have came after my bank account. They could have garnished my wages. They could have came after everything. So that's why it is important to have this insurance. And I know people say, make sure you have enough, like I have a $2 million policy. But even then, depending on who the person is, they still may try to go after that. And so what you want to do is you want to find an insurance company that decline claims, right? I used to get frustrated with insurance that decline claims, but I actually like them now. I like the insurance companies that's going to be declining claims, because then I know I'm going to be protected and that they're going to fight on my behalf. The first insurance company, even though it was hell with them, they still declined the claim after I sent over all the evidence and the information. This new insurance that bought out the old insurance company had taken on the claim, and they ended up settling with the attorney on it. There's attorneys out here, y'all, that encourage people to rent properties just to sue you. So you got to be careful of that. And one of the things that I did, I don't want to just give you guys the story without giving you some tools to protect yourself, right? One of the things I do is an address check. So it's not just a background check. I verify how many times this person have switched addresses. This person in this instance was at that property for 2.5 years. So I would have missed it there. But what I found out was the previous landlord did not verify references and our previous landlord history. He just moved anybody into his properties. So had I known that, I would have conducted, at that point in time, before I signed that new lease with my company, I would have conducted a full background check that included the landlord history and the reference history. But because I was under the assumption that all of that had already been done, I moved over on that and I did not do it. the lesson for me was I'll never trust nobody else due diligence and or their process with screening tenants. Because what I also know is these property management companies fill your property with a lot of bad tenants. And guess what? They get paid the first month's commission off of it. So because they get paid the first month's commission off of it, they don't care if they stay 2, 3, or 4 months, because they're going to have to go find you another tenant to stay in your property and take another first month's rent. And so the first thing that I would do, again, is I would do the address check to verify it. I would do the landlord check, and then I would do the reference check. Okay. Then on top of that, in regards to insurance, I would make sure that I have enough insurance on these properties to make sure that I'm covered. But I also would want to investigate the insurance company to see, are they declining these claims, or are they accepting and settling these claims? There's some claims that need to be settled. There's some claims that need to be fought out in court. And then be aware of these attorneys that's out there representing these tenants with these fraudulent cases. This is how these low budget attorneys make their money, by going after single investors, that are not owned by large corporations. The next thing I would tell you to do to prepare yourself with insurance and to make sure that you're getting the right coverage and that you're putting the right amount on the property, don't put all your assets up under one LLC, one entity, okay? Make sure all of your assets are scattered out. If it's one 4-unit deal you have, it needs to be in one LLC. If you have 2 separate houses, put that one in another LLC. The reason why I say break it up is because they can go after all of the revenue that's being generated in that entity. So if you don't want the insurance company, because they settle so often, and or an attorney to come after you and get the other assets of other investment properties that you have producing, then you want to make sure that you're doing everything you can to cover those assets, separate those assets, and make sure that you document everything. If you are a real estate investor, on these iPhones, they have what's called this recording. You can say this call is now being recorded. If you're talking to your tenants and you don't have fancy software, just press that on your iPhone and start recording the call. Record every single call you have. Let the tenant know, hey, this call is going to be recorded for training purposes. Okay? The reason why is because if you, like me, you have a lot of properties, there's no way you can remember every single thing that goes on inside of a property. But what you can go back to is your voice notes. And if I can tell you anything, you want to be organized with every single tenant file. Every single tenant file should look the exact same. What does that look like? A rental application first, the approved rental application, the utilities, proof of utilities being connected. Then your lease agreement, a lease agreement that has been fully signed and executed, a walkthrough checklist whenever you move in. Then you want a checkout checklist. On your move-in checklist, what you're doing, taking pictures of the actual property, making sure that it's in the condition that it's in whenever the tenant move out. So if there's a hole in the wall and you got a picture of that wall and it didn't have a hole, the tenant have to pay for that out of their deposit. And whatever you do, make sure if you're going to deduct anything out of a tenant deposit, you explain to them in writing within 30 days. In the state of Louisiana, it's 30 days. You explain to them why you have deducted this amount out of their rental deposit and what it's been applied to, and you send them the remaining difference. All of that is important because whenever you get audited, whenever you have a claim coming up against you, you're able to go back to that file. And because you do every single transaction the exact same way, copy and paste, copy and paste, copy and paste, you're going to be able to get straight to the details that you need to be able to protect yourself. Now, in my case, I had everything, I had all my I's dotted, all my T's crossed, and it still was not enough. It still was not enough that his wife called. It's still not enough. When she passed away, I was like, oh my gosh, did he kill her? Like, we still don't know what she passed away from. But what I would tell you is that had I known what I know now, What I would do different when I'm acquiring somebody else's real estate portfolio is I will look at the rental application and make sure everything has been verified. I will look at the background check and I will make sure that they did a good background check. I would look at the credit report and see if that's a credit report that I would accept. I would look at the references and I would contact them to still make sure that those numbers are still working and that you can get in touch with them. And last but not least, I would record that person coming in, signing those payment arrangements, saying everything is good. Why you say go through the extreme? Because homeboy said he had a whole surgery taking place, yet he walked into the office on 3 different occasions and never looked like he had one thing done to him. So he have taught me, out of any other resident, he has taught me how to be on game and how to trust nothing from none of my residents. All it takes is one to set precedents. He set the precedents, and I am strict with each and every last one of them. I actually removed my 2 payment plan policy to 1 a year. Why? Y'all might say, yo, that's strict. See, why you gonna do that just after that one? Because at the end of the day, I did it for him on the 3rd time, and then he still didn't pay. He didn't honor that one, and then he come back and say he hurt when he was never hurt. I got to be able to protect my assets as well. So if you learn anything on this episode, learn that you got to cover your assets in real estate investing, because your insurance company won't do it for you. The attorney is going to try to get you to settle, and everybody else and their mama going to act like they don't know what the heck is going on. But you know what's going on, and this is your warning for watching this episode. Do me a favor. Hey, if you enjoyed this episode, share this with 3 people and then click the link below. Join our protege community. If you like what I'm putting out, you like, yo, T, this is really, really great nuggets. This is so good for me as an investor. Go to join our protege community. We got a special going on. We'll love to see you guys inside the community. I'll see you next week on another episode of the Property Challenge podcast. I am out of here. Peace.